Hi, and welcome back. You're in the zone with yours truly, Teresa Marcus. Today's show, we're going to focus on the steady and climbing rate of foreclosures that's actually being noticed throughout the New York City borough. At first, what we have thanks, Rick. I love you. Rick over at Syntex and Credit Suisse has always gave me updates and insiders as far as how the housing market trend is going. And what I'm looking at is some interesting data. It states that the mortgage bonds are trading slightly lower on the heels of a little hotter than expected inflation data. This morning's Producer Price Index, also known as the PPI, reported wholesale inflation numbers, but remember, it's only a precursor to what we might see in tomorrow's Fed meeting. The Consumer Price Index is more highly watched as it reports inflation as it pertains directly to consumers. The PPI is reported at 0.9%, hotter than the expectations of 0.5%. That's a very good thing. When excluding volatile food and energy prices, the PPI reported only 0.2%, double consensus estimates of 0.1%. Comparing to the last few year-over-year numbers, let's compare. The PPI increased only by 1.1% in 2006. Compare that to the 5.4% in 2005, with the core PPI rising 2% over year in 2006 versus the 1.4% rise in 2005. Bond prices are dipping slightly on the news, but traders in the Fed will be focusing more closely the PPI report that comes out this Wednesday. In other news, what I found is that, you know what? Wednesday afternoon, approximately at 2 p.m., the Fed will release their beige book. And as we've seen in the past, it can move the market, so pay close attention to whatever stray comments that come out of that meeting. And in other news, what we have also that we want to focus on tonight's meeting is the steady rise in foreclosure properties. What has been known as Bed-Stuy is now being reclassified as Stuyvesant Heights. Every Manhattan Height that I know, because I always predict, and people said, you know what, Teresa, I don't know what you're talking about. But I always predict, back here in 2005, I do remember, it was in the springtime, and I told people, they was like, oh, I'll never live in Bed-Stuy, oh, the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. And that's why they're having, like, let's say, for example, two-family brownstone at the time in May 2005 were going for like 410 to 420,000. And some people, as I know, clients that we had out in the field would literally turn their nose up and says, I wouldn't live there. But lo and behold, I predicted. I said, you know what? By summer and fall, because prices is hot, hun. Those prices or those brownstones will skyrocket. And they did. We have one listing here, a two-family McDonald Street and Stuyvesant Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, is actually listed for $685,000. And I always question people. I said, you know what? And here's where we get into the foreclosure trend. If you have a good FICO score, and let's say you're coming in at a 698, and banks qualify you based on your credit score, which you can get a 80-20 combo loan, or a stated loan where you can actually state your income, which is a better bet if you only make $30,000. You say, hey, I want that house. That is mine. I'm, putting on the Ritz. But you close in June and your mortgage payment is looking like $4,200 a month. And remember, it's a two-family, 3-bedroom over 2-bedroom. Who's going to come and move in and pay that $2,800 rent? Maybe in Manhattan, Fifth Avenue, Columbus Circle, but definitely not on McDonald Street in Brooklyn. So then new home owners find themselves in a bit of a bind. They said, gee, how am I going to pay this mortgage? I can't refi because I have no equity. Zilch. So, hey, then the next year they're in foreclosure, and the next 10 years they can't afford to buy anything because their credit's messed up. So there you have it. But what I've also known is that, yeah, it's good to wait, but it's also good to wait and watch the market. Because right now, we're in a buyer's market. And I also am going to predict that, everyone is feeling that, being that East New York is totally pricey now. And sort of that movement has shifted because people, the Manhattanites, have found that, hey, why should I live in a one-bedroom and pay $2,800 to $3,200 a month when I can go to Brooklyn, get a house, and less than that for mortgage? So then you have that flow of that transition of people moving out of Manhattan to lower parts of Brooklyn and now even East New York. So now I am predicting for 2007 spring and summer that Staten Island is going to have a hot buying market. As you know, they have very modest pricing, and you get a lot of acreage and a lot of square footage for modest price. 3-family, $299. Excuse me, a 2-family, probably a fixer-upper, $299. A 1-family townhouse, beautiful. You're looking at $225. Nice area, nice community. I predicted you heard it. Yours truly, Teresa, because it's in the zone. Okay, well today we do have some guests. What do we have lined up? Okay, debt consolidation calls, don't you love them? Okay, we're going to take some calls tonight. I didn't receive any messages in my inbox, anybody email me with any comments, but again, the number is 1-877-712-0098, extension 3. Please do leave a message in your voice box that if you want any questions that you want answered, you always want to know, hey, Teresa, you know what, is it a good time to buy? Should I wait? Should I debt consolidate? Ask a question, and we'll get right back to you. So, Rick, who do we have on tonight?